Everyone, it's Mr. T from Educated Traveler here with Big Boss from Oakland, California. Thank you very much for jumping on camera with me.
No worries. Thank you for having me, sir.
Yeah. Now, we were discussing what topic we could cover, and one of the things we both agreed on is just who's controlling the world and where things are heading right now really fast. Because if the world was a picture, everybody before was living in their little pixel and didn't really give a hoot what happened outside that pixel.
Right.
Now everybody's pixels are being rocked heavily.
Right.
So anyway, I'll let you explain a little bit about, you run a YouTube channel, you are on the internet under Big Boss.
Big Boss.
Yeah.
That's right.
And you cover this kind of information.
Yeah, I did when I first was doing my YouTube channel years ago. I started my YouTube channel back in 2011, so 9 years ago. Since then, the last few years, I kind of let my YouTube channel go. I haven't really updated in years. And so my reintroduction to YouTube was actually on other people's channels. More so this guy named Richie Rich out of Atlanta. His YouTube channel is Roll the Tape. And so, a matter of fact, this t-shirt right here, I catch flights, not feelings, is actually his clothing line. So shout out to Richie Rich, Roll the Tape. He kind of rejuvenated me and gave me a second win on YouTube. And so when I started appearing on his channel about a year ago, I started getting like a cult following on his channel, and everybody was like, Big Boss, what's your channel? And I'm like, well, I haven't did my channel in years. So now I'm about to restart my channel. I will say more so nowadays, my mind is kind of, well, it was prior to 2020, was off of the conspiracy stuff and more this on enjoying myself traveling. But unfortunately, we know what happened since 2020, the gift from China that keeps giving, and it just reawoken all the stuff that I studied and researched for years, and now we are living it.
Exactly. So you mentioned before we started the camera rolling here that you suddenly saw me introducing it in my Educated Traveler channel as a playlist.
Yes, I did.
So I'll just throw in why I did that. Okay. Because there has been a few people that say, oh, I just wish you stuck to the travel stuff. Well, let me tell you, I just wish the world was normal.
Right.
I just wish the world was open.
Yes.
Where we can do what we want, when we want, how we want, without other people stopping us travel, locking us up in our homes, forcing us to wear masks, forcing us to wear or stand in queues, etc., etc. So since the world started going to hell with this COVID attack on humanity, it's war on the people.
Yes.
So what do you do during a war? You take your best weapons and you shoot with those.
Right.
And I had another channel, still have it, and feel free to subscribe in there, called Wake Up and Retaliate, but ScrewTube really knocked it down. So I decided, well, I have all the people watching in my Educated Traveler channel, so I'll just separate the videos, and they have different thumbnails. If it's a normal travel documentary, it gets a number. If it's this Wake Up and Retaliate, it has a rifle with a little dove, which indicates you're willing to stand up, like the Second Amendment, for your rights, but also fighting for peace.
Yes.
So for those who want to watch those kind of videos, they can do that. And you watch some of them.
Yes, I did. And like I said, it was interesting to me. When I first found you, it was like a year or so before I came to the DR. My first overseas trip was only 2 years ago in 2018. My birthday is Halloween, so I came to the DR Halloween 2018. But like a year before, I was researching the DR because I knew that was going to be my first trip. And so doing my research, I came across the regular guys, Tailor Made and all the other ones, and Flip Flop. And then, of course, I came across Mr.T, the Educated Traveler. One of my best videos I like of you, you had one that's like something like 50 scams to look out for in the Dominican Republic, if I'm saying it right. Yep. So I followed you for about a year or so. But then also, every now and again, checking on your videos, I also saw your first conspiracy theory video that I saw. Probably not your first. You were talking about chemtrails. And I said, what?
You mean conspiracy realism?
Conspiracy realist. I said, Mr.T is talking about chemtrails? The travel guy? What does a travel guy know about chemtrails? So then I even had a little more respect for you. And so I follow both. I followed your travel videos and your conspiracy realist videos because I'm a conspiracy realist myself.
Yep.
I became woke in 2010, about 10 years ago. And so since then, a lot of reading, of course, a lot of YouTube, a lot of internet, but a lot of reading. And I just been educating myself on how the world really works.
There's a proverb regarding the chemtrails there. The eyes are useless if the mind is blind. If you can't look up, like we do here every day right now, and we've had it for years, and see them switch those long white lines on and off and on and off very distinctly. You know, if it was condensation, then there would be one long line, wouldn't it? And then it would just evaporate like if you blew breath out on a cold winter's night. But they don't evaporate. They just thicken and thicken and thicken. We start the day with a blue grayish sky, and we end up 3-4 o'clock every day with a complete gray and white out here. And the sunset is always chemical. Actually, I made a video with Luke Skywalker in it. I took a clip from Star Wars. He was watching a sunset with two suns going down in a very chemical sky. And then I appear straight afterwards in a clip standing here at Playa Alicia Beach with a horrible chemical sky. And then I actually mentioned that just now 2+ decades later, we have the same shitty sky to look at. So they're even going into videos and changing the sky, like just to remove that normality that we grew up with, watching a orange sun go down in a blue sky, and it just got darker and darker, and that's it. It was nightfall, but we didn't look at this shitty layer. Actually, if you watch from space station, you know, the videos that are online, Earth seen from the space station, you'll see a big white blanket covering the Earth. If you then look up Earth seen from Apollo 1972, you see a beautiful blue planet floating gracefully in space. So things have changed.
What happened
anyway,
in 30 years?
Back to you. So what would you say has just happened with all this COVID stuff?
Well,
they pulled a big trigger.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now for the record, now I know already, and we were just talking about this in my group. I have my own WhatsApp group. My WhatsApp group is Real Talk with Big Boss. Small, intimate group, not very big, but within my WhatsApp group, and it's only like 30+ people right now or so, there's divergent ideas. So that's like a microcosm of the society, right? Some people believe it's a hoax. Some people believe it's fake. Some people believe everything they see on CNN. Okay, God bless your soul, I guess. I can't. I'm somewhere in the middle. I do believe that this COVID-19, which I know you say stands for Certificate of Vaccination 19.
ID.
ID. Certificate of Vaccination ID.
ID.
Oh, I believe it's real. I believe it's real. But I do believe, my personal opinion, it's a bioweapon engineered in a lab. It didn't come from a bat. It didn't come from a mouse. It didn't come from a monkey, a cat or dog. Maybe originally it did, but the version we got was manipulated inside a lab to make it transmissible from a animal to human, to cross over. It was made in a lab or bioengineered in a lab in China. My information says that the funding came from the States. I don't know if you want to get into that, but outside of that, came from China. Manipulated in the lab as a bioweapon and released on purpose. On purpose. For the very purpose that is serving the globalists. Basically, more government control, less private citizen rights.
Yesterday, I was just watching again. I rewatched Harry Vox back in 2014. He was reading out the documents and predicting everything. He said they want lockdowns and curfews. So here's a guy, very sharp, coming out in 2014, predicting that we will be locked down, because that was the terror tools in the toolbox that was missing. And Bill Gates have been pushing for it for years, and Fauci and criminals like that.
Right.
Yep.
So that leads me back to in 2010, the Rockefeller Foundation. And anybody worth their salt, when you do this kind of research, when you say certain names, the Rothschild family and or the Rockefellers, the Rockefeller Foundation had a think tank group, and they came up with a book out of that. And out of that book, I quite forget the name of it, but within that book,
Lockstep.
Within that book, it was a chapter called Lockstep. And in Lockstep, in 2010, it described everything we're going through. It said that's why it's called Lockstep, like soldiers marching in unison, who say lockstep. Every nation on earth, all on the same page, all implementing the same thing. People locked in their homes, only so many people allowed to gather, things like this. It's all about government control. All of this was written in a book in 2010.
So we are now living on a prison planet.
Yes.
And this is where I believe people, they really have to start questioning themselves. You know, if they just go, oh yeah, I got to be in by 7 in my home jail.
Right.
Grow a spine, grow some kahunas.
Grow a pair.
Start fighting back, because we have been dragged down into this tyrannical quicksand pit by all those people who chose to believe in the lamestream media over the years and get indoctrinated. And they must be having parties and laughing their heads off the fact that people are just falling for it. That was so easy. America's been almost changed to a new country in, 6 months?
Yeah.
If you just take America, we are talking about the whole
world.
world.
But yeah, you would think.
Now you're from America, so I mean, look at the crazy changes, and they want our civil rights, human rights, and property rights, and this lockstep is the way they plan to do it. Now, I have some ideas on how to fight back against it, but I can share those afterwards. Was there anything else you wanted to?
Well, you know, it's interesting. You know, I'm a child of the 70s and 80s, right? Big into sci-fi stuff, like you brought up Star Wars. So imagine this alien race in a big giant spaceship above Earth, mandating the whole world stay in their house. This alien outside race, all of a sudden mandating all of humanity around the whole world wear a mask. This alien outside race mandating overnight that the whole world cow down in lockstep. We're basically living in a sci-fi movie. There's no difference. You just replace this alien overlord race with these governments that's using this as an excuse for overreach.
Yeah.
Especially, I have to say it, whether it's Democrat or Republican or right or left in different countries, the more left-leaning governments tend to be more power-hungry. So they're going to use this as an excuse, as a crackdown. A lot of rules and laws and implements that they wanted to do before COVID, that they know they couldn't get away with, now under emergency powers, now they use COVID as an excuse for more government overreach.
Yeah.
Just like some kind of outside alien force power. So we're basically living in a sci-fi movie. And we wouldn't stand for it, like you said. If little green men came down and we can see them, and they outright mandated that all humanity must submit, we will fight back. But because these people look like us, they dress nice, they talk good, and they say things that sound reasonable, most of us submit. But when we submit, we're submitting our rights and our freedoms.
Freedoms, like I've said in other videos, are like money. If you don't look after it, it gets taken off you. And if they've programmed you, maybe not you, but it could be, if we've been programmed into believing that this is going to end and they're going to fix everything, you know, or that the vaccines are harmless and, you know, my government will look after me,
right, then
you're falling into a trap, because they've gone rogue. And I think it was written in your constitution in America anyway that there's allowed to be a militia always existing in case the government goes rogue.
Yes.
You called it overreach. And they've gone way rogue. You know, they are stomping on our freedoms internationally. And it's very evil because, you know, I know people right now, there was a veterinarian here, very liked and well known, he just died or passed away just recently. And the family's supposedly very upset they can't have a funeral. So they've killed funerals, weddings, parties, sports,
graduations.
Yeah, anything. That I don't even know if movies will be made anymore. You know, I don't know if there's going to be dance shows, singing contests, travel shows, etc., etc. You know, maybe these travel shows to some tropical island, they'll be running around in masks there. I don't know. But the world is being turned cold. The whole thing about a mask too is to shut people up.
Right.
Yeah. And I even saw in a place that the slaves back in time were forced to wear like a wooden mask with chains to a chain around their neck,
right,
etc. Say it's a sign of submission.
Right.
I mean, when I look around town, I'm probably one of the craziest ones here. I refuse to wear a mask, and I'm dodging police because I don't bow down to their tyranny, so I got to avoid them. But you know, if you get caught, now they have another reason to violate you. No, several reasons. And then you got to be in your room like a little naughty kid at 7 o'clock here in DR anyway.
Right.
You know, and this is tyranny. If you lock unhealthy people up, they call it quarantine. When you lock healthy people up, it's tyranny.
Tyranny.
And then you get those idiots who want to argue that one. Well, stay in your home.
Right.
Wear your damn mask. Don't have fun with your wife or girlfriend or husband or wife anymore or boyfriend. You know, isolate yourself, live a lonely, sad, depressed, screwed up life.
Right.
For what I care. Just don't stomp on my freedoms or
right.
his.
Well, even with that, in a way, when I told people about a month or so ago when I was planning this trip, man, you're gonna travel? You're gonna get on an airplane? You're crazy. You're gonna travel during this? I said, man, I have to live my life. First of all, I'm not a coward. Mm-hmm. Second of all, I'm not a slave. And third of all, I need to live my life and enjoy myself. Exactly. With all this going on, I even more so have to get out and just enjoy myself, and I deal with the consequence.
So what is the solution? We are under tyranny now. We are under this lockstep thing that the Rockefellers and Rothschilds and many other big corporations and governments have cooked up.
Right.
And how do we get out of it? Well, I have some suggestions, but let me bounce it off you first.
Well, on that one, I'm going to have to alley-oop and bounce it right back, because the only thing at this point is knowledge. People need to educate themselves. People need to look at alternative sources of news and not just watch the mainstream media. The mainstream media is going to push the narrative of the controlling powers that shouldn't be. Mm-hmm. So if everyone would educate themselves first, that's the first step. And everyone should come together. If we all come together, then we will have power.
United we stand, apart we hang.
Apart we hang.
Yeah.
Or fry.
One thing that I wanted to just interject here was we, like you say, have to wake up first. That's why I have that little playlist, Wake Up and Retaliate. You can't retaliate against something that you haven't woken up to.
Right.
So that's the first thing. What are you actually watching? CNN, BBC, all these controlled channels. That's one of their weapons. And the first casualty of war is the truth. So right now there's a huge war going on online, which is deception against the truth.
Right.
And we must not let the deception win. If they are burning books today, like they said during Hitler's time, then they'll be burning bodies tomorrow. Woo. And it can happen. All right, there's already people being killed through neglect and incompetence in hospitals. So it's already happening. But if we talk about millions of people, which they have planned with their eugenics program, which is part of what we're in here, you have to realize what we're in. We are in Agenda 21.
Yes, sir.
This is the Sustainable Development Plan 2030, agreed to by 179 countries in 1992 in Rio de Janeiro.
In Brazil.
Yeah,
correct.
Exactly. And if you want to watch a good video on that, go into my channel. There's one you see with burning koalas and all that, because I made a video when that was happening in Australia. But Rosa Koire, she used to do seminars around the world before the COVID attacks, warning everybody about what's potentially coming. And she explains all of Agenda 21. We are inventory. That's all we are.
Right.
They've already decided how many cows they want, how many humans they want left, how many buildings, how many windmills, etc., etc. And there's going to be the Internet of Things. We're going to become half robots if we are still alive. They want to get rid of, like they say in the Georgia Guidestones.
Yeah, Georgia Guidestones, right.
You know, they want 500 million people left on the planet. But anyway, back to solutions.
Solutions.
Yeah.
Well, that's your category right there.
So, in my channel, there's a community tab. Today I actually loaded up a flyer for the police. And if we have any police officers watching, you know, join the people. Because you have days off too. You want to take your family for a trip around the world. You don't want to say, oh shit, we can't travel. Or it's illegal to sell a house now. A friend in the UK, he said, they're not, during the first lockdown, the whole real estate market got frozen. Nobody could buy a house or sell a house. You see the kind of power these bastards they have? So, do you want to, if you're a cop, do you want to live in that kind of world? If not, then you better fight for the people. And then when your superior asks you to push policies, stupid policies, inhumane, disrespectful, tyrannical policies on other people, say no, I'm not doing it, then fire me. I will treat people with respect because I joined to serve and protect. That's it. Now the ball's in their court, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know. But back to the solutions.
The solution.
Hand these flyers out onto police cars, but do it stealth. You know, deliver the message, not yourself. You know, take 15 flyers with a rubber band around it, biff it into the yard of the police. They will pick it up and they will distribute it around and probably hang it up in the station. It'll be investigated or checked. But those words are powerful. One voice that speaks out speaks louder than 10,000 that stay scared and silent. So it's time for everybody to speak out. Put flyers on every post in town. Hand flyers. I have flyers I hand out to people about the masks, etc. So we have to get more proactive and then do everything you can online. You receive a video that you like, boom, send it out to as many people as possible. Because ScrewTube is pulling them down faster than you can almost count to 10.
Exactly.
You know, so yeah, other things you can do. Disconnect from idiots. I coined a proverb myself. You can hear I like my proverbs, and this one is: are you willing to learn when it's your turn? If you're presenting proof, like I've used in my videos before about Dr. Rashid Buttar, a very long-standing, reputable doctor who explains about the dangers of not getting enough oxygen to your brain by breathing through the mask for hours on end, and he goes into great detail. If a person's not willing very quickly to write down the name, do you want to take the name down or should I write it down for you? And they go, oh no, I don't believe in that stuff. Boom, let him go. Argue with an idiot, it only makes two. Now let's move to how you can handle people at shops. I have not worn a mask once. I refuse to go into any shop that won't let me in there as a normal human being. You don't tell me to wear a nappy on my head or on my face, all right? If you don't appreciate my money, screw you, shop owner, and I'll move on. And then, yeah, you have to be a rejection specialist. This is part of us winning back our rights, disconnecting. They have divided us racially, sexually, financially, politically, the family. We need to redivide the world in two groups. Those who are sane or want to become sane, those who are willing to learn, you know, and take on some new information. Oh, well, it sounds interesting. I'll look into the videos. Okay, cool. Keep communicating with him or her. But those who just block their brains off, you can't help them. They say about the mind, it's like an umbrella. It only works if it's open. We have to separate those who are willing to take on board these kind of good videos and information, and the rest let them go. Because they're the very same people under more tyranny that'll snitch on you, who will shoot a gun at you, who will call the cops. These are the bastards during the Second World War that would snitch on families and have whole families dragged off to the concentration camps and burnt.
Collaborators.
All right. So this is war. And I'm at war every day. And I probably fight for 1 million people, because there's too many damn people that I can see who are not fighting. If you have children, do you want them to always have to lack in oxygen and be chemtrailed and to drink water that's poisoned and have toothpaste full of fluoride and be locked down and have to be told when they can and can't be in their homes? I mean, what sort of future do you want for your children? If you don't want to fight for you, fight for your children and your grandchildren. And I don't like evil people winning, It's like the bully in school. Do you like when he gets the upper hand and he's always the bully in that school? No, he needs a goddamn thrashing. And that's our job, to become bulldogs, to become rejection specialists, to keep coming at them and screw them up. I was going to use the F word, but I'll leave that off camera, okay? To screw them up and teach them a lesson. You don't mess with humanity.
Right.
You mess with the bull,
you get the horns.
That's it. Anyway, so there's a few things you can do. Don't shop anywhere. I had a friend from Canada yesterday. He walked into a mall. He had to sanitize his hands. Then he walked 5 feet to the first shop. Then they wanted to sanitize his hands again. Now, if you bow down to people who's chosen to become police officers for the police, for the government, you see how it's just rippled? Right. And it's amazing how quick they've adopted this bullshit.
Right.
And they love it. I had a guy here at a bar in Sosua that walked out to the edge, and just to show off what a bastard he could be the other day, and said, "You have to wear a mask coming in." I said, "I don't see anybody wearing a mask sitting here." "Oh no, once you're in, you can take it off." He was just being a prat. And this is the very same type of character who's complained about how he was harassed by the police. And then he wants to act like Gestapo.
Right.
That's where it started. It started back in 1933 already. There's a bit of noise in the background here. We're in a Coco Hotel having a good time here. But anyway, it all started building up towards the disasters a few years earlier, 7, 8 years earlier. And that's when people started, picking on each other. Some joined the Nazi mentality, and they licked the soles of their boots.
Right.
Don't be that kind of person. Stand up for your fellow man. It doesn't matter whether you're black, white, brown, what religion you are, whether you believe in Democratic parties or Republican. You're being locked down.
Right.
You still have to abide with all the rules on the airlines. Now they want to remove cash. I mean, the list goes on. If you really dig into the rabbit hole of what they're doing to us, and the social engineering of people, the spraying, and filling us with nanites, and they want to be able to control and mind control and all that. I mean, it goes really, really deep if you look into it. But one thing's for sure. Didn't you like the world a year ago compared to now? If so, fight for it. It doesn't come by itself. No. Anyway, final words from you, because here I went on a rant. Sorry for that.
Yeah, you were preaching. I was cheerleading you on. Basically, it's not much to add. Everything you said. I mean, we could go on and on.
Let me ask you a question. I have one for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. The Second Amendment.
Second Amendment.
Tell the viewers what you think of that and how important it is to get things back on even keel, because that's been put in place in America anyway.
Yeah.
We're not talking globally now. He's from America.
I'm from America.
So what do you think of the Second Amendment and what should be done right now?
Second Amendment in America, very important. It was put there for a reason. The reason why the founding fathers put the Second Amendment in the Constitution was for a time such as this, if and when the government ever became tyrannical against the people. The government is supposed to work for the people. It's a representative government. Mm-hmm. But if the government does overreach, try to be overlords, basically act like dictatorship, then the grassroots people should take arms and fight back. Yep. And when the people take arms and fight back, it doesn't matter your color, doesn't matter your religion, doesn't matter your politics, left, right, in between. It's about freedom and slavery and servitude. Mm-hmm. I'd rather die on my feet than to live on my knees.
exactly.
I would not be a slave. I would not be told what to do. I am grown. I'm an American citizen. I'm a world citizen. I'm a human being. But unfortunately, big dog, woo, woo, woo. We have those in power. We have those in power that are using this COVID as an excuse for more power. Yeah, excuse the dog. But we have people in power in the government using the COVID as an excuse to take away our power. So the people need to come together.
Yeah.
Irregardless of race or religion, nationality, we need to come together by any means, whether it's arms or even if it's not arms, then things like this, media, independent media, or passing out flyers or whatever.
A lot of people have been in doubt whether Trump is really for us or against us. Why not find out when we are holding the rifle barrels in the mouths of some of the culprits, and then we see whether he wants to put an army against the militias or whether he wants to support them. You know, there's a way to test people whose side you're on. Just start taking action. I've said that in other videos too. I've made videos about this specific topic. Militias need to come together. Why do I focus so much on America? Because they've got the most guns.
Yeah.
If it was Russia, I'd be focusing more on Russia. But America, per head, has more ammo, more guns than any other nation. And
combined,
you know, one person with a pistol can control a crowd of 100 people. So if people won't respect through common sense, because they're just tyrannical, sick, evil bastards, they usually will respect an AR-15 or even a handgun, you know, if it's pointed at them. Then it's, okay. Yeah, freaking okay.
Now it's okay.
Yeah, now it's suddenly okay. Let's bring these people to justice, because this is bullshit. This is not how I want to live my future in this kind of totalitarian world. They want to turn everything to China. You mentioned China earlier.
Yeah.
And if you just put into YouTube, China totalitarian cities, you're going to see millions of cameras, facial recognition. You can't twitch without them knowing what you're doing. You cross a pedestrian crossing, boom, there'll be 6-7 cops in no time.
They bring it up.
They've shown all these videos. So that's the model for the world that they are trying to implement. And don't think there's any country against another country anymore. You get the odd little one out there that'll fight back. I think it was Ghana or Kenya or something, where they refuse to take money and all that. But overall, it's a global attack.
Exactly.
And they need to be fought in every country. And we need to fight in every single way possible. And if they don't get the message, and I mean especially the police and military, join the people.
Right.
On the flyers I put out, it says, or else, okay, or pay the consequences, okay, because there will be consequences, because nobody's forcing any kind of vaccine onto me.
No.
My body, my choice.
Right.
And I'm willing to take serious action, if you know what I mean, for anybody who tries that shit.
Right.
My property, my money, my assets, my movement, well, that's being screwed with. So none of us are completely free, and now they just took more freedoms away from us, but nothing's made me a happier guy, sorry, this last thing, than disconnecting from people or entities who don't mean you well.
Right.
Get rid of them. They're like human basura. Basura is a Spanish terminology, but that's rubbish.
Rubbish.
There's human garbage, you know, the ones that walk in lockstep and believe everything their government says and wear their masks and our government, they are doing the right thing. Let's just tune in to CNN and hear what's next.
Right.
You know, freaking sheep. Piss off out of my channel, actually. Sorry to say that, but I don't even want them commenting. Go watch somebody else's channel if you're that sheeple. Okay. Anyway.
One thing I wanted to say, you started off with it, like, again, full revolution. You're the traveler guy. You're the traveler guy, but you're an educated traveler too. So it's not just travel, you're an educated traveler, and people need to be educated. And then you have some of your people say, well, why don't you just only focus on travel and stay away from the conspiracy realist stuff?
Because the world changed.
Right. And then you even said that, you know, to facilitate that, you do have a distinction between your conspiracy realist videos and your travel videos. But here's the thing, right? The same people who say stay away from the conspiracy realist stuff and focus on travel, guess what? The conspiracy stuff stopped the travel for a while. So you can't get away from it. So I tell people all the time, if you want to be like the proverbial ostrich who sticks his head in the sand to hide, it's like a Band-Aid. You're not fixing a problem. It's not going to go away. The problem is going to come around, boomerang 360 and hit you in the ass. So it comes full circle. The people who say, oh, don't focus on the conspiracy stuff, only focus on travel, because we as a society, not me and you obviously, but because 80% of the sheeple blindly believe the government, they blindly go along in lockstep, because they ignore the clear signs, now it affected the travel. So look at that. So one day you're going to have to pay the piper, so why not wake up now? Exactly.
Hey, boss, thank you very much for that. Super cool information, passionate. Love to have you here. Give yourself a shout out again.
Oh yeah, well this is Big Boss from Oakland, California. My YouTube is Veil Storm 4705, but if you don't catch me there, you can always catch me on Richie Rich channel, Roll the Tape.
There we go. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And if you want to join InfoHub, that's my information service about Dominican Republic, where you get vetted contacts of well over a decade of my time down here.
Wow.
Plus all the information about the country. Join InfoHub, click on the link up in the YouTube channel, and feel free to make a donation. And if you want consulting for moving down here, then send me an email at infohub-educatedtraveler.info. Take care, guys, and fight hard. See you later.